All right, folks, how you doing? Russell True Results 303.com. Check out the website. Link in the description box. Also ways that you can contact me through social media. Coming at you today with a video on the Bible and should you read the Bible? Who should read the Bible? What type of person should read the Bible? And this is, I think, a question that a lot of people might have. Well, I'm not a Christian. I don't need to read the Bible. That has nothing to do with me. I don't care. And I think in general, no matter who you are as a person, what your religion is, whatever your beliefs are, I think you should read the Bible. I think you should read the Quran. You should read on Buddha. Why? Because there are valuable things that are in these books. Myself, I've read some books on Buddhism. I think I probably scared my mom when I started to talk about these things. And she might have at one point thought that I was going to become a Buddhist. And I did try and do some of their meditation type stuff, and for me it just didn't work. My family roots are deep rooted in Catholicism and Christianity, and that's where where my family history is and where we come from, and that's where I really find my passion. I believe that that Jesus was real. He was the Son of God. He died, he resurrected, all those things. That's what I believe. I believe that to be true, and I encourage everybody to believe that as well. That's what I'm going to talk about when someone comes to me with a question on religion. But I know a lot of people aren't like that, and my job is not to force Christianity upon anybody. It's just to spread the word and to get people interested and thinking for themselves of, is what I'm doing right? Or, what, I've never read the Bible. Maybe I should give it a try. So like I said, I think everybody should. I've done some Buddhist books I've read. I have not gotten to the Quran right now. I'm really diving into the Bible because for myself, my true spiritual journey has only been about 2 years now. When I was a child and then in my 20s, once my mother and I moved away from our hometown and away from the family, we stopped going to church as well. So first, what book should you read then? There's a lot of books in the Bible, a lot of different stories and passages in the Bible. So the main thing is going to be, which ones should you read if you're a person that's just interested in some of the philosophies of Jesus then, Some people say it's an Eastern philosophy. It is a religion, but we'll see it as a philosophy. So what books should you read of this collection of books that are going to benefit you, that's going to open your eyes to a little bit of knowledge and wisdom in certain situations that you might come about in your life, because those stories are in here. And if that's what you're interested in, then yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this book that you're not going to want to read. But there is still a lot of stuff in this book that you do want to read that has value to your life. All right? So the first step is you're going to have to get yourself a Catholic Bible. And that's not because I'm a Catholic. That's probably what you're thinking. There he goes, being biased again on some Catholic stuff. No, the reason why we need a Catholic Bible is because the Catholic Bible has more books than a Protestant Bible or any other Bible that's out there. So that's why we need the Catholic Bible, because it has more books. Some of these books that I'm going to suggest for you to dive into are not in those other Bibles. All right, so here we go. Let me open it. I'm just going to open to the front. So Old Testament, like I said, there's a lot in the Old Testament that you're not going to want to read unless you're truly into the Christian faith, the Catholic faith. So for you, just someone who wants to gain knowledge and wisdom and insight to issues in the world that you might come about and wisdom that you can share with somebody else, the books that you're going to want to use and read, here it says Job. That one is still a little iffy for me, but definitely. So we got Job, we've got the Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastic, Songs of Solomon, Wisdoms of Solomon, and Sirach. Those are the books that you're going to want to stick to. The rest of it is something you're not going to have to worry about unless you read some of this stuff and you're like, wow, I want to know a little more. I'm curious. Then you can dive into some other stuff of the Old Testament. But those are the books that you're going to want to stick to. Next, of course, I think that you could go the whole New Testament. I think you can, because a lot of these are there's a lot of letters to certain communities that were having struggles in their lives of ways that they were worshiping and stuff, and words of advice. But if you're not going to read the whole New Testament, you should just stick with the Gospels, which would be Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You can get into the Acts of the Apostles if you want, but definitely just Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So I think everybody should read it. Yes, if you're someone that's just curious about some of the teachings, especially of the Old Testament, those are going to be more words of wisdoms and certain ways to act during situations and how you can approach difficult situations in your life. Those are the books you're going to want to read in the Old Testament. Once again, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Songs of Solomon, Wisdoms of Solomon, Sirach. Those are the books you're going to want to stick with. New Testament, I believe the whole Testament, the whole New Testament, but definitely Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those ones are going to be more of what Jesus was about, what his ministry was about, what he taught, the way he thought we should live. Because a lot of people talk about, achieving Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness. I think they're just trying to throw a new term on it, because Buddha was more of an enlightened consciousness, I think. From the few books that I've read, I haven't dove too deep into it. But yeah, so Christ consciousness, they're trying to portray it in that sense. So if you just want to look at the Bible as a philosophy, which some people, that's a good way to look at it. Still look at it as a philosophy if you're not a real religious guy. But we need to make sure that we're starting to invest time into spirituality, into finding God. And of course, I'm going to say God and Jesus. You're not going to hear me revert to it as the universe. I'm not going to say it's the universe. To me, it's God. To me, it's Jesus. So that's how I'm going to talk about it. But you just take it with a grain of salt, how you want to interpret God. Take that for yourself. But we just really need to realize that we need to find that spirit and that soul that God has put into us, that real calming place that does exist. And nowadays, society tries to suppress and doesn't want you to know that true inner peace and health and happiness that you can have in your life that can't be given to you from a material possession or from another person. So there you go. I encourage you, like I said, get a Catholic Bible, look into those books and read those, and you'll find a lot of interesting things going on in there. And it might spark some other questions for you. So once again, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, share the videos, like the videos. Stay tuned for another video.